You, that was amazing. I loved it. There's just something about it that just had me going, Chukubia, Chukubia. Oh well, oh well. Lovely one by Joe Best there. All right, it's time for a book chart, and Funmi Omotoso is right here with us. She is a fellow of the Institute of Management Consultants, that's FIMC, and an award-winning behavioral and personal development coach. Funmi is the author of 30 Nuggets for Self-Development, a guide to personal growth. It's so good to have you in the studio with us this morning. How are you doing?
Thank you very much. Good morning. I'm fine. And you?
Very well, thank you. You look amazing. I love your outfits.
I love yours too.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, so reading this book, and you know how sometimes you think you know something, but then when someone puts it all together, you're suddenly struck by how much more you could actually learn. That's what your 30 nuggets of for self-development is. And so it makes me wonder, what inspired it? Why did you decide to write this book?
I decided to write this book because I realized that self-development is the #1 foundation for success. You cannot rise beyond your self-development. Whatever you are doing, whether as a student, whether as a lecturer, whether as an entrepreneur or a career person, if you don't develop yourself, you cannot maximize your strengths, you cannot minimize your weaknesses, you cannot reach your best potential, you cannot be the best version of yourself. So self-development is key to growth and success.
And self-development is one of the 30 nuggets you gave in your book, which, by the way, is quite interesting. So you talked about self-assessment as well. You talked about personality. I actually love the progression, how you started from self-assessment, because in most cases it's important for people to look at themselves before they can actually know what they want, put themselves together as they aim for their goals. Now, let's talk about the trajectory. Why did you decide to make that progression? Was it through a personal experience of yours or due to things you've seen?
You know, our bodies are just our vessels. The real person is you inside.
Absolutely.
So when you change inside, it is that change that comes outside that makes you to experience a transformation. The Greek philosopher Socrates said, an unexamined life is not worth living. So you need to examine yourself first before you can examine the other aspects that are outside. So we succeed inside out. That's it. So that's why you have to start from self-assessments, you have to start from personal assessments. And as a behavioral coach, my first degree is in psychology. So I have a good idea of the human behavior. So if you know yourself, if you know your human behavior, if you know your natural tendencies, you'll be able to be the best version of yourself. You'll be able to grow. You'll be able to know where to work on. Oh, these are my natural tendencies. These are my strengths. You'll be able to maximize those strengths and make the most of it. These are my weaknesses. These are the things I can do to tone my weaknesses down and to be productive, to just be productive, to be the best, to be the best. One quote that I want to read from the book by Brian Tracy, he said, no, John C. Maxwell rather, not the one by Brian Tracy. Growth is the great separator between those who succeed and those who do not. When I see a person beginning to separate themselves from the pack, it's almost always due to personal growth. So when you begin to transform your life, when you begin to get better, it is certainly due to personal growth.
Your talk about being, psychology as well as talking about behavioral changes, it makes me think of the nugget 13 and 14, because when I came across those, cultivating optimism, most people are pessimistic. Most people, more or less, are, will I say, prophets of doom. No matter what I do, nothing comes out of it. But I like the fact that you're like, you know what, no matter what it is that you've been doing, be positive, keep pushing. And I found that really interesting. Same as as I said, nugget 14, foster a growth mindset. Not many people have that mindset. And some people have it, it gets frustrated, but the importance of continuously fostering that mindset. At the point you were writing those two nuggets, because they are very related, yet they come one before the other. At the time you were writing it, what was running through your mind? I actually wonder about that.
My greatest quote, or one of my best quotes, is by the automobile giant, Henry Ford. Whether you think you can or you can't, you are right.
Yes.
So,
I've always loved that quote.
Yes, that quote is my all-time favorite.
You limit yourself.
You limit to whatever, you cannot rise beyond your mental set or your mental ability or your mindset. You cannot rise beyond it. So when you see yourself thinking negatively, it's better to catch yourself and speak to yourself and tell yourself, I can do it. I'm more than this. You know, one thing that I love, one of the things that I love most and that I used to tell my trainees is the parable of the talents. Some has 10, some were given 5, some were given 2, some were given 1. It is those of us that have one talent that undermine our talent. But if you run with that one thing,
you might achieve even more than someone with 10 talents.
Your neighbor may be more beautiful, more skilled, more talented, more richer, have everything. But that one thing that you have, if you run with it, if you maximize it, you'll see that that one thing would just become 10 things. True. Because you'll be able to see how to do it better, how to open another branch, how to expand it. It will just, you keep evolving.
Yes, that's the word.
So that's, yes, that's the word.
And see, I find Nugget 18 very interesting because many people struggle with that in life. That set healthy boundaries. Do not allow people get past this. Do not allow yourself to get past certain boundaries for yourself. I found that really interesting. The one that really, really caught my eye is delegate and ask for help, because personally, I've had that struggle for a very long time. I struggle to ask for help. I struggle to delegate. It's something I'm learning now, being in a leadership position, that I can tell, okay, you do this for me, you do that for me. But it's always been a struggle for me because I'm this, like, I can do it myself, I can achieve it better. So this one was actually speaking to me. And I just must say thank you for the book. Thank you so much for coming up with it.
What I would just like to say about that is that those of us that have perfectionist tendencies, we know how to analyze situations, we know what is good, what is bad. So because you have these perfectionist tendencies, that's where you can't just allow somebody else to do, because it has to be up to the standard. But over time, we teach others and we learn to allow them to
also grow, which is very important. Thank you. Thank you so much, Funmi Omotoso. Thank you so much. And thank you for your book, 30 Nuggets for Self-Development, Guide to Personal Growth. You might want to copy it for yourself. Really interesting one there. All right, we'll take a break now. You're watching Wake Up Nigeria. Just stay with us. We'll be right back.